Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to unpack a totally brilliant covert operation that's actually hidden right in the middle of an ancient mythological text. You know, when we think about ancient epics, we usually just picture gods, magic, and these massive battlefield clashes. But sometimes, if you read between the lines, you find something completely different. I mean, we're talking about a literal masterclass in strategy, deception, and basically the ancient equivalent of encrypted DMs. So let's dive right into this incredible story of espionage. We're going to break down this covert operation from the Mahabharata into 4 quick phases: the spy's intel, decoding Vahuka, the secret plot, and finally, the fake Swayamvara.
All right, let's jump straight into phase 1, the spy's intel.
So our story kicks off with Princess Damayanti. She's been separated from her husband, King Nala, and she is desperately sending out informants absolutely everywhere. Finally, one of her operatives, a Brahmana named Parnada, returns from the city of Ayodhya with some really fascinating findings. He tells her that when he recited Damayanti's specific seeking words to King Rituparna, the king just ignored it completely. Crickets. But right after that, he was approached privately by a servant named Vahuka. And Vahuka's reaction? It was entirely different. The guy was super emotional, literally sighing and weeping as he asked about the spy's welfare. Now, what's really interesting here is the profile Parmana builds of this Vahuka guy, because it's just full of glaring contradictions. Outwardly, the agent describes him as having an unsightly appearance and unusually short arms. He basically looks like a lowly, unimpressive servant. But his skills? Well, he's the king's personal charioteer, an extraordinarily fast driver, and an expert in the culinary arts. This highly specific, elite skill set starkly contrasts with his physical disguise. I mean, that is a massive red flag that this guy is definitely not who he appears to be, right? And that brings us to phase 2, decoding the charioteer. We now get the most vital piece of intel from the field, which is this incredibly cryptic, emotional confession. Vahuka tearfully tells the spy, chaste women, although fallen into distress, yet protect themselves. It behove her not to be angry because the husband who deserted her was overwhelmed with calamity. Okay, pause for a second. Why would an ugly, short-armed charioteer in Ayodhya be sobbing to a total stranger about a deserted wife who shouldn't be mad at her ruined husband? It's just incredibly suspicious. But here is the actual smoking gun. Vahuka doesn't just vaguely say the husband had a bad day. He specifically mentions being deprived of a garment by birds, being despoiled of kingdom, and oppressed with hunger. Damayanti decodes this immediately. These aren't just colorful metaphors. They are the literal, exact, and highly tragic details of her husband Nala's downfall. Think about it. No random servant would know that Nala literally had his clothes stolen by birds while trying to find food. She instantly recognizes her husband hiding right there beneath the charioteer's words.
So put yourself in Damayanti's shoes. You've got the intel. You know for a fact your husband Nala is alive, and you know exactly where he's hiding under the alias Vahuka. But here's the catch. He is actively hiding in shame because he lost his kingdom and feels like he completely failed you. So how on earth do you force a disguised king to drop his cover and come home when he desperately doesn't want to be found?
Let's find out in phase 3, Damayanti's secret plot. To get him back, Damayanti instantly shifts from a grieving wife into the mastermind of a highly sophisticated extraction operation. And she knows operational security is absolutely paramount here. Step 1, total secrecy. She tells her mother in private that her father, King Bhima, must not be told about her plan under any circumstances. Step 2, she generously funds her successful operative, Parnada, promising him even more once Nala is back. Step 3, she activates a new operative, the best of the Brahmanas, a guy named Sudeva, to handle the actual extraction phase. She dispatches Sudeva to Ayodhya. But here's the twist. She gives him an explosive message designed not for Vahuka, but directly for his boss, King Rituparna. Her instructions are crystal clear. O Sudeva, go thou to the city of Ayodhya, straight as a bird. She is emphasizing ultimate speed here. Everything about this next phase relies entirely on rapid, flawless execution. And that leads us to the grand finale, phase 4, the fake Swayamvara trap. We have officially reached the climax of her strategic brilliance. Damayanti knows that just sending a letter begging Nala to come home won't work at all. His pride and shame would just keep him away. Instead, she manufactures a crisis he literally cannot ignore. She has her agent Sudeva announce a second Swayamvara, which is an ancient royal ceremony where a princess chooses a new husband from a gathering of elite suitors. Her public cover story? Well, she claims she doesn't even know if the heroic Nala is alive anymore, so it's time to move on. But here is the absolute genius of her trap, the timeline. Sudeva delivers the message that the Swayamvara is happening tomorrow, right after the sun rises. She sets an absolutely impossible deadline. I mean, imagine getting an invitation today for a massive royal wedding that's happening hundreds of miles away first thing tomorrow morning. It's a completely manufactured ticking clock.
And the setup is just irresistible. King Rituparna hears this news and, being an ambitious king, obviously wants to attend and win the princess's hand. But the catch is brutal. The journey from Ayodhya to her city is incredibly long. It is physically impossible to make that drive overnight in a standard chariot. No way.
And boom, the trap snaps shut. This is Damayanti's ultimate masterstroke. Because the journey is impossible for a normal driver, the only way King Rituparna can physically make it in time is by ordering his bizarre, unsightly servant, who just so happens to have magical, unparalleled speed driving skills, to take the reins. Damayanti's ticking clock forces Nala right into a corner. He has absolutely no choice but to use his legendary driving skills to get his boss to the ceremony, which instantly breaks his disguise through undeniable action. Plus, as a brilliant little side effect, the insane deadline guarantees that no other rival suitors can possibly arrive in time. She flushes him out of hiding, forces him to reveal his true identity, and drops him straight into her waiting arms. It's honestly just a flawless operation. Damayanti leveraged field intelligence, successfully profiled her target, maintained strict operational security, and used a manufactured deadline to force her target into predictable, revealing action. It really makes you wonder, if we look closely at the text and ignore the surface-level magic and mythology, how many other ancient stories are actually covert thrillers just waiting to be decoded? Keep that in mind next time you brush up on your ancient history. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning what you read.